Hey, welcome back to Kick My Asana. My name is Melanie Dawn, and today we are at day 8. We'll get started on our backs in bound angle, Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees falling wide and apart, long back, tucked chin, and softness to the face. Thinking about each breath, dropping away a layer of personality, a role or identity that we play. And just allowing yourself to be completely present as you are, who you are, with everything that you have brought into this room, everything that exists inside of this room. And let yourself drop into that if it's happening, it's okay. I'm okay. That this breath is safe to breathe. This body is safe to be in. And I am safe as you gravitate towards your breath. We'll begin to soothe the nervous system with longer, slower breath and training the mind to follow the breath. This may look like silently repeating to yourself, I am breathing in. I am breathing out. And there is so many practices of pranayama that we could do. But this is the one that you were born with. This is the practice of watching you breathe you in communion with the universe. Acknowledging that you are being breathed. And in the same way that nature reflects to us, we reflect to it. Like the ocean tide, the breath rolls in and out of the belly. If you have your eyes closed, you'll start to gently open the eyes, and let's go through knee bends. Bring the soles of the feet together. You can use the hands to the outsides of the thighs to touch. The knees to center, and then bring them over top of the heart. Now just widen the knees to the outside of the rib cage and take a slow rock back and forth in the low back. And you've been here before. Find softness where you didn't before. See if there's space to go any deeper. And then gently let go of your left leg and let it reach long towards the end of your mat and bring both hands to cover your right shin bone. Keep the knee outside the rib cage so that the lung has room to breathe. Continue to put compression into the belly with the duality, the experience of being squeezed, compressed, and yet open and long. Flex the left foot, bringing a fire to your practice, and start to bring in a more restricted breath. Each inhale goes through a restricted back of your throat. Exhaling through the restricted throat. Squeezing even deeper into the belly, you'll drop your right arm out and sweep your left knee across body. Supine twist. Slowly come back through center. Bring both knees over top of the heart. Give yourself a squeeze as you breathe in. And an exhale as you kick your right leg long to the end of your mat. Hug your knee to the outside of your rib cage. Take both hands over the top of the shin. Noticing if there is any tension or tightness happening in the shoulders, like they're feeling like they have to do more than they should. And if you are tipping your head way up, if you could bring the chin back towards the heart, it takes a little bit of strength to hold this. This keeps you in a straight line at attention. Right foot is flexed. There is energy running from head to toe. Breath is flowing into left lung, expanding and collapsing left rib. And then the left arm falls out shoulder height, right hand brings your knee across your body. And the breath doesn't stop or cease to exist here. It continues to flow, whether it stays long or it becomes shallow and jagged. And your nervous system responds in a way that translates safety through a longer breath, a deeper breath. Come back to center, bring both knees over top of the heart once again. We're going to start to activate the energy, the Shakti of the spine, beginning a rock and roll from tail to crown, rolling as fast or as slow as you'd like. Hands at the back of the thighs. And then one more rock and roll, really warming up the blood. And then coming forward, crossing the ankles, making your way into tabletop. And from tabletop, we want to focus here this day on the low belly, making sure that the low belly, the belly button, is hugging into the spine. So this means that the lowest part of our back isn't reaching towards the earth. Instead, it's coming out nice and flat. Strong inner core. You can feel the inner core activated. And then pressing down through the knuckle mounds of the hands. Also taking the weight mostly into the top side of the foot to alleviate any strain on the knee. On your inhale, lower belly down, lift the crown of the head, turn your gaze forward, widen through the sit bones. Really squeeze out as you round the spine, tuck your chin towards your heart. Squeeze every last bit of breath out. Follow your breath as you inhale, drop. Exhale, contract. Squeeze everything out. This is a really nice place to close the eyes if you are able, if you're willing to. And settle into the inner senses. Become still at center with a nice flat back, taut tummy. Tuck your toes. Root down into the knuckle mounds of your hands. And with a lot of energy, downward facing dog. Hips lift, legs straighten. Subtle bend stays in the knee. Heels don't have to touch anywhere near the ground. Tail is lifting up. Heart is pushing back. Take your feet mat width distance apart. Bring a deeper bend through the knee. And then see if you can push the heart back between the thighs. And this is just the sensation of that. It's being pulled between the thighs. tailbone continues to lift up, not tuck. Sit bones are rising. All right, bring the feet back hip width distance apart. Take soft and steady little petals, not big petals, tiny, tiny petals. Warm up the calves. Little ones, micro movements almost. I know the shoulders are probably speaking to you. You have 2 more breaths here. Big toes will come to center to touch. Left leg kicks up into a 3-legged dog. This is a straight leg where the baby toe is looking down at the ground. On your empty out, you'll hug your knee into the center of your chest and hold but continue to breathe. At your next empty, you'll see if you can lightly place your foot between your hands. Runner's lunge. Kick high through the back heel, all 10 toes pointing towards the short edge of your mat. Right hand stays where it is, trying to keep the hips as level as possible, not dumping in on the right hip. See if you could lift your left hand up towards the sky so that the fingers stack over top of the left shoulder socket. Squeeze the shoulder blade onto your back body. Send energy through the fingertips. Be as light as you can through your bottom hand. Firm your belly. Turn your gaze down to your mat. Bring your left hand to follow. Left hand replaces right. Right hand sits at the center of the heart and then sweeps up towards the sky as your back heel drops down and you find your extended side angle in one of the deepest places you can go in it. If that's not for you, bring your forearm up to your thigh. Yeah. Hand can go extended, fingers reaching overhead, or stay where it is. You're here for 2. Leaning into the energy of the back body, last one. Coming up, warrior 2. Front palm flips, back arm drops, reverse warrior. Come back through center, warrior 2. Front leg straightens. Arms remain exactly at warrior 2 height. Right hip presses back. Left fingertips reach forward. Nothing shifts. Subtle bend through the knee. Strong core. Trikonasana. Front hand drops down, back hand comes up. And you may be floating fingertips away from floor, and that's okay. If you need a block, you can place it underneath there. We won't be here too long. Strong core. Pulling up from your Mula Bandha lock. Last breath. Come back, warrior 2. Front forearm, front thigh. Side angle. Right hand reaching up. Gaze looks down at the mat. You'll roll onto the ball of the back foot and plant both hands to frame your front foot. Runner's lunge. We've returned. Right hand stays where it is. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Again, that firming of the shoulder blade into the back body. The rolling of the right shoulder up over top of left. Both hands come down. Runner's lunge. Looking just slightly ahead of you, You're going to power down through your left foot, lift your back leg up, standing split. From standing split, where the baby toe is looking down at the ground, heel is lifting up, you have the option to stay here. Maybe you want to balance here, or you can make your way into half moon. Your left hand is going to be just slightly in front of left foot to the outside edge of it. Typically for me, this isn't just dropping straight out of shoulder height or straight out of the shoulder socket. It'll be where it is. And then we'll find the right hip with the right hand. With the right hand, you're going to roll the hip over top of left hip as your right toes rotate forward. So the toes are following the posture. And toes are now facing the same way as your nose, less the grounded foot. Right arm reaches now all the way up towards the sky, full expression of half moon, full half. Now that we took that long to get there, we must come out standing split. Hand comes down, heel stays high. On your empty, you're going to soften your standing knee and bring your right knee behind your left, right baby toe to left baby toe. So your legs are crossed. Forward fold. So this soft belly, heavy head, twisted legs. You may need to take a bend through the back knee. Maybe you don't get baby toes to touch. Maybe your feet are far apart. And all of that is perfect. What this posture means is that we still have to kick back out to standing split. On your inhale, kick your back leg up, lift your heel so high, standing split. Big empty out, step forward, fold. Halfway lift, empty fold. Breathing in, mountain pose, sweep all the way up. As you exhale, sink back, chair. So the hips are starting to come down almost parallel or almost level with the knees. Weight is into the back of the foot. Toes could dance away from the floor. Arms are reaching out of the shoulders and only lifting so high that the chest stays pulled in towards the sternum. So it may only come shoulder height. Breathing for 3, 2, last breath. Empty out. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Fold. Hands will plant down to your mat and you'll step back, downward facing dog. If you would like to do a sun salutation here, you're more than welcome to. If you would like to take child's pose, big toes to center, knees wide and apart, and we'll be here for 4 breaths. So you can make this as much of a practice of peace as you can of violence, just by the choices that you make. So choosing to follow the yogic principle of ahimsa, compassionate being, non-harm. If you are in child's pose, come back through downward facing dog. Big toes to center, right leg kicks up, 3-legged dog. Heel is high, baby toe is looking down. On your empty out, you're going to hug your knee as close to your heart as you can possibly get it. Hover, but continue to breathe. It's really sometimes hard when we're holding to not hold our breath. And then on your next exhale, step your foot forward, lightly land it on your mat. Runner's lunge. And sometimes I need to adjust the length between my toes and my heel. Might need to step back slightly to give myself a nicer runner's lunge. Hips are heavy. Left palm stays down, right arm reaches up. finding your twisted lunge. Gaze comes back down to the mat. Right hand replaces left. Left heel drops down. Left hand sweeps up. Side angle. You can stay here, or maybe you didn't even land here and your forearm's already on your thigh. If you need forearm on thigh, for sure, take it there. If you want to do the beach ball from a couple days ago, you're more than welcome to as well. But just a side angle, arms straight out of the shoulder socket, reaching up is fine. Take one last breath. Inhale, come up, warrior two. And heavy into the front thigh, but the knee is not crossing over your ankle, and it's pressing to the back of your mat. You're tracking your baby toe or big toe. Reverse your warrior, flip your front palm, drop your back hand, sweep up. Sometimes we lift up out of our front leg here. If you could sink a little deeper, I know I do. And then come back through warrior two. Front leg straightens, left hip presses back, right fingers reach forward, hold. Firm into the belly, pull up from the pelvic floor. Continue your breath as you drop your front hand down, back hand up. Trikonasana. If it's easy, I'll tell you right now, your knee is taking the brunt of it. So you should have quad engaged or working, and a slight bend through the knee. If it's easy, you need to take more muscular approach. And then come back for warrior two, front knee bends. And we'll take front forearm again to front thigh, back hand up for side angle. Gazing down at the mat, twisted lunge, left hand comes down, right arm reaches up, and rolling onto the back toes, heel comes high. Both hands come down, framing the front foot. Powering down into the right foot, lift the left leg nice and high, heel is always up, baby toe always mind in your mat. You can move into half moon here, or balance in standing split. Right hand is just slightly in front and off to the side. It dangles right out of my shoulder socket and plops down in the right place. And then left hand finds left hip. You roll up and over, and then possibly left arm reaches up and away from the heart. Full moon. Full moon, half moon. Good Lord. I was in it there. If you are in half moon, gaze travels down to your mat. Top hand follows, standing split. Softening through your standing leg, you'll bring your left knee behind right and just sort of magnetize the baby toes together. Taking as much of a bend through the legs as you need. Whatever you need to make you feel comfortable, you can do that. You are the absolute leader of your body. There are ways to deepen this posture. I find this excruciating enough. I'll teach it on it one day. All right, so again, the grand finale, the fireworks of this odd forward fold. Back leg kicks up, standing split. And then finally the big empty out as you can step your feet forward and fold. And this time I'll leave you in a soft kneed forward fold, soft belly, heavy head. You can take opposite elbow bind and sort of like rock. It's almost like rocking a baby back and forth. or just trying not to get your clothes dirty when you're like a kid on the playground. I remember this being my posture then. I'd not want to get my sleeves in the gravel. Always cautious. And then we'll have one last empty out here. Arms will come heavy, releasing the bind if you had one. And inhale, halfway lift, strong flat back, shoulder blades hugging the spine, heart pressing down. Exhale, fold. Next breath in, reach up, mountain pose, arms rise overhead. And as an exhale, you sink back into your chair. Hips come back, weight into the back of the foot, toes could float away. Knees are strong, arms could drop shoulder height. Or if your shoulders have had enough, you can take the thumbs to heart center. Last breath, seeing if there is any possibility of anything changing inside this posture. And an empty out, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold, Uttanasana, stepping back for your plank. Option to do a sun salutation or move straight into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, once we all arrive there, if you had taken child's pose and I was so mean I didn't cue it, I'm glad you took it. From downward facing dog, we'll take the right leg into the air. Heel is nice and tall. And then an exhale, right knee to right wrist. And then the ankles sweep across your mat. Half pigeon. And the left toes are going to be reaching towards the tail end of your mat as your hips sink deep, deep, deep. Don't go yet all the way into a sleeping pigeon. Stay up nice and tall, heart lifted, fingertips down. Breathe in, almost take a slight back bend, lifting the heart. And then an exhale, you can sink deeper through your hips if you have it, or drop forward, folding over your pigeon. If this is not for your knees, you are not alone. And you can just roll right on over and find your back body. Take your right ankle across the left thigh and move into figure four, threaded hands behind left thigh. And you'll just stay on your back too. No need to get up into down dog or anything when we move the pigeons. And you'll be here for a little bit. So if you are gripping, if your ego is leading your practice, I am asking you at this time to check in with your heart. You can use a block underneath the forehead as well if you folded forward, but it's just not quite all the way down to the mat. That's always handy, or just propping yourself up on elbows. Man, I love my elbows. Even though I can come down all the way, oh, I love my elbows. I'm paying close attention to be in the seat of the witness, watching thoughts instead of becoming thoughts. And we'll have 3 more breaths here. If there's anything that you can change about the posture to support you better. You'll if you are in a folded pigeon or a sleeping half pigeon, press back up into the palms of your hands and come up nice and tall, broad chest. Make sure that your hands are firmly rooted through the knuckle mounds. Power through your core, so pulling up from pelvic floor. Prepare to tuck your back toes and kick up into three-legged dog. This is where the knee is bent and the sole of your foot is kicking over to the other side of the mat. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you'll drop your toes down to your mat and lift your left leg. Three-legged dog. You know what? We won't be coming back here. So you have to do, you don't have to do, but we'll hit the fire hydrant on this side right now. Kick the sole of your foot over to the right side of your mat and open the space between thigh and belly. Stay really active and angry. I almost think about these feet that are always on. They're flexed, ready for anything. Keep your angry feet going. Last breath. And then now, as you exhale, take a left knee, left wrist, sweep your ankle across your mat, lengthen your back leg out, stay nice and tall. If one side worked for you in half pigeon and this side is a no, go onto your back, find your figure four. So this time left ankle will cross over right thigh. You can stay there. This is a restorative practice. You don't have to work too hard, or hug the back of the thigh with the hands. Those of you in half pigeon, nice broad and proud chest, chin are tucked, filling all the way up with breath. And then as you empty it out, you can fold over, maybe finding elbows, a block, even a bolster. If you are new to yoga and you're starting to like yoga, I was really resistant for a long time to getting props, but that's just such an ego thing. If you can use the support and you don't have to get injured, and then in the process, you actually are quite loving and comfortable and just really enjoying your practice. You want to show up to it. I don't know why we wait. I don't know why I waited. Taking a few more breaths here. Wandering through the mental body. What's really important here? Do I need to be in the future when I'm right here in this room? Can I be here? Those of you who have folded all the way over, you'll press back into the palms. Everyone comes up, nice proud chest, dropped shoulders, connected to the spine. Planting down through the knuckle mounds of the hands. Oh no, I lied there. We're just gonna roll on over. So you can roll on over and find your way onto your back. So shifting onto the outside of your hip, making your way onto your back. I was gonna take us into another active practice. I don't think you'd be a fan of me after that. So we'll come onto our back body, and here just move into a few nice twists. Hug the knees over top of the heart. They don't have to stay up this high. But then as you fill up the belly with breath, you'll drop out the arms to shoulder height and let the knees fall over to the left. And I always like to play with, where do my knees naturally want to go? When I'm not forcing them, where do they naturally want to go? And I let them fall there, and then I ask, could I plant a hand to the top of my knee, bring it down slightly? Then I ask where I can go from here, but I'm not immediately always trying to enter at the depth of every posture. I've also torn 2 hamstrings, so I did touch the stove again, but it was the last time. closing the eyes is a beautiful gift to self if it feels safe. If it doesn't feel safe, it won't feel like a gift. So then you could just soften the eyes to one object at center above you, or maybe over to your right if you want to turn your chin over your right shoulder. I've not gone anywhere, but sometimes it's just nice to have quiet. Thinking about the support that your back needs to bring the weight of your legs from your core, bring everything back to center. Draw the knees outward towards the heart, and then see where they want to go. Drop them off to the right. And so many times I have to roll my hip a little more under and behind me. And then I can really, what is the word? I think I can really like absorb the juiciness of the posture is what I want to say without being creepy, but I don't know how. It wanted to be said. Eyes softly focused on one object. Maybe it's like a popcorn. Oh, a popcorn ceiling would be so good right here. Eyes just like go into that galaxy of popcorn. You could focus on that. Or you could close your eyes, drop your chin over to the left, and see what a cervical spine twist might feel like this time of practice. And know that if I'm quiet, I'm not anywhere. I'm completely present. I'm completely here. And you're more than welcome to join me. Sometimes I think like I want to over cue things, and we just get so caught up in that people don't know their bodies, where I firmly believe that when we're listening, we're always in the highest interest of our body. And just checking in there. As you come back through center with a taut belly, you can drop your feet and just roll the lower back from side to side as the knees sway back and forth. This posture, this movement, almost like an ocean, rocking back and forth. And then we'll close our practice extending the legs. If there's any last posture that you really are feeling called to take, please do take it. And then when you're ready, the body becomes long and it becomes symmetrical to let the mind center on losing its edges. The more symmetrical the body, the less the mind wanders into this is out of place and that's not right here, or my left shoulder's too high here. All of that, the mind is constantly tracking. So draw the shoulder blades into your spine, pull them down your back body, give your chin a gentle tuck to give your back of your neck a little bit more length. And if you need to untuck your tailbone or support the back of your thighs in any way, this piece of your practice, your Shavasana, is your whole goal of the practice, whether you know it or not. The way that the yogis have structured the pathway of yoga is that asana comes before meditation, and meditation comes before total absorption. So when we tire out the body, the mind can finally have a little rest. And the whole body, when it loses its tension, becomes one of the most intelligent breathing things on this planet. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Before you open your Shavasana, greet your day with a big exhale. Namaste.